Marafiki wangu, Dizala Sami, my friends, Chomizami, Abangan Mami, Amalusaka. My name is TJ and this is Financial Motivation. My dream is to have an Africa with a mindset that is set for continental growth. A lower financial thermostat is a hindrance to wealth creation. But well, the question is, what causes it? To answer that question, I have got Tamara, the transformational diva.
Hi everyone, I'm Tamara, also known as the Transformation Diva. I am an entrepreneur, content creator, and the founder of Ada King Creatives, which is a marketing agency. And I'd like to welcome you back to our 3-part mini-series on increasing one's financial thermostat. If you didn't go check out, the first video, I suggest you go look at it right now, because what TJ and I discussed in that video is definitely a precursor to what you'll be learning in today's video. And today we'll be talking all about, some of the causes of that cap on your financial thermostat.
One of the causes of a very low financial thermostat is the background. So, what is your money culture? What is your money mindset? What is your wealth background? So, according to Dr. Adrian Seville of the Gibbs, a professor, stated that the savings rate of South Africa is unfortunately below zero. He was further supported by the Investec, a specialist bank that shows, according to this graph, that the savings is always below zero since 2007 in South Africa. Going up north, things does not change at all. In Zimbabwe, it can be shown that 80% of the people do not have savings at all. This is according to the Zimbabwean Independent. According to the Global Index of 2017, sub-Saharan Africans stagnated at around about 15% in savings rates. Against this background, the statements that we hear each and every day, I cannot afford it, we cannot do this, we cannot buy that. This is the sentiments, this is the thing that we get into our minds as we grow up. So, to think that we are going to afford anything into the future, or to think highly as far as wealth is concerned, we have got emotions, we have got pains that are in our heads that will always think like everything in life is not affordable. So background is one of those greatest causes that pushes us down and that we have a low financial thermostat.
That is so true, TJ, and we don't always recognize just how much all of the emotional baggage gets carried on even into our adult lives. And another example that I can think of right now is, like when you go to the shop with your parents and they are there, just to buy groceries and like all the basic needs of the household, and you see all of these nice toys, like I want this toy, I want this toy, I want this toy, and like your mother or your father could be broke at the time, so instead of explaining to you nicely why you can't get a toy, I don't think there's a nice way to tell a child that they can't get a toy, but they start either shouting at you or they make it seem as if like it's your fault you can't get a toy. So you perhaps your mom like, no, you've been a naughty child this week, so you can't get a toy. And like if you even try and throw a tantrum, I remember back in my days, if you throw a tantrum, you get a good hiding for that, and you get another hiding on top of that hiding for crying because you just got a hiding. So I know like a lot of people my age grew up, with that type of environment, so to speak. And hey, look, parenthood is difficult. Like there's no parent that leaves the hospital with this manual on how to raise a child properly. So I don't want you calling up your mom and be like, hey mama, you're the reason why I'm broke, you're the reason why I've got to cap my financial thermostat. No, that is not what I'm saying at all. I just want you to recognize that those types of situations could be the reason why you now have this idea on how much wealth you deserve. And so you start believing that every time you want something out of this universe, it could result in a fight, so you avoid those things right now. And or if your parents were the type to make it seem like it's your fault you can't get certain things, you internalize that and you start believing that you don't deserve certain things out of this world, and that could potentially result in you believing that you don't deserve wealth.
There's a statement that says that your net worth is your network. Well, is it your network is your net worth, or your net worth is your network? Well, according to Nelson Mandela, one of the African greats, he stated that there is a concept in Africa called Ubuntu. Ubuntu. And what is this? Ubuntu is a profound concept that says that a person is only a human according to the humanity that surrounds you. So in essence, we can simply say that the success of a person is as a result of the actions, the activities, and the prayers of the people that surround him. So in this essence, a poor network results to a very low net worth. So we can say that as far as financial thermostat is concerned, you're also going to have a low thermostat. And also on the vice versa. Look at the people that are around you. If their net worth is generally really high, then it means also that the net worth is really high. If you take the 5 people that surround them and calculate an average of their net worth, you're going to see also your net worth is going to be just around them. So if you surround yourself with people, see that you surround your people that are rich in a mindset, that are rich as far as ideas are concerned and progress is.
Another example of, how you get that cap on your financial thermostat is like the teachers and the coaches that you have as a young child. So some of those people are not always emotionally qualified to be in that role, and they end up crushing the dreams and goals of the people that they teach and coach. I remember I was in grade 4, grade 2. I remember, but I was still in primary school and I was trying out netball for the very first time. Like, I've never tried it before, but I was like, okay, this is the only girl sport that was at the school, available at the school at the time. So I was like, okay, let me try this out, give it a go. And the first time I'm playing, and I couldn't play perfectly, so every time I catch the ball, like when in netball, when you catch the ball, you need to land firmly. I would bounce back a little bit because the ball was so freaking heavy for me. I had a tiny body, and one of the netball coaches just shouted at me, she literally screamed at me. She's like, "Hey, get off the field! You can't play! Get off right now!" And that totally crushed my spirits. I pretty much never tried playing sports ever again. And at the time, unfortunately, I didn't have anyone around me to tell me that teacher's stupid, they're probably stressed out, they've got man troubles or whatever. And that if anything that you want in life, you need to try it at least more than once in order to decide that you can't do it. So like I said, this was my first time playing this sport, but I was told that I can't. And those types of beliefs, like I said, they grow up with you. So even as an adult, when you want to start a business because you want to, build your wealth, but your first business fails, and immediately you think, this is not for me, I can't do it, because of some of those events that happened in your childhood where you were told once that you can't do something. So those thoughts and those ways of thinking or habits of thinking grow up with you even in adulthood. So every time you try something even once, you start believing that if I fail once, I can't do it and it's not for me.
You know what, Tamara? I remember a story back then when I was starting to play volleyball, and I had an opportunity to hit. I would hit and I would hit flyers. Hit and I would hit flyers. At that moment, my coach said that, TJ, you're never going to hit in my team. And this really put me down. My expectations were really low. So this is not the story for volleyball. This is the story of the coaches that we have. This is the story of the mentors that we have, or the people that we look up to. The people that we look up to, they let us down sometimes. There's a famous saying that kids do not listen to what you say, kids copy what you do. And what these people do is taking our expectations down in terms of wealth creation, in terms of any aspiration that we can ever thought of. And as a result, financial thermostats are going to be lowered in this situation.
TJ, if only I had that sort of motivation back in my days, I could have been a netball star by now, who knows. But in any case, so another one of those factors that contribute to a low financial thermostat could be, your family, your direct family, and some of those things that they tell you. So I remember a couple of years ago, my sister and I we were having a chat, and we were talking about just how broke we are. Oh my word, I can't believe we're this broke, dude. And my sister's like, I think our dad actually did put a curse on us. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, don't you remember when we were kids? So when we were kids, my parents got separated. I was like 8 at the time. So they got separated. We were living with our mom, but every now and then, like on weekends, we'd go visit our dad. So my sister's explaining to me that, sometimes my dad would just go cray, and, he'd start shouting at us, and he told us that, we would never be successful. And, my sister still remembers those words so clearly. And even though I did not remember those words, until I heard the story, it could be that at a subconscious level, like I said in the first video, at a subconscious level, some of the things that we hear do affect us, emotionally, and we subconsciously grow up thinking, that we can't be successful because of something that our parents said way back when we were freaking 8 years old. Like, it's just how it is.
Unfortunately, Tamara, do we have to go that low? Do we really have to go that dark? I wonder, where is the story of a good old hustler? The person, the businessman with integrity, the businessman with honor, the businessman who keeps his word. The stories that will grow up celebrating and saying that we have people. But the story is, well, Shitokoloshi. The story is Sandawana. The story is evil spirits. Or the story is Akachekeresa. As if wealth creation is a bad thing or is only acquired through negative and dark things. We also want to have the positive stories so that we can have a higher financial thermostat.
And what about the movies that we watch? Sometimes when you're watching a movie, you find that some of the people that are wealthy, living a rich, lavish lifestyle, they are criminals. So they're either drug lords, or they're gangsters, or they're thieves, or they're scammers. There's some sort of crime they're committing. And hey, the majority of us do not want to go to jail, yo. So we start forming this kind of twisted association of money with crime, and a lot of us start believing that, hey, if you do not commit a crime, you will never be wealthy.
The rich are corrupt. The rich are thieves. The rich do not have a good attitude towards other people. The rich are bad people. What is it that we are told within our societies? And as kids, these are the sentiments that are echoed to us. Everybody who is rich has not gotten it in the perfect way. And as you say, also in Hollywood, that is the story. The wealth is never acquired in the best of manners or in the best of situations. And as kids, we tend to fear and to be afraid that if I have a lot of wealth, then I'm going to be a bad person. Well, these sentiments, they lower down.
And then you get the good old Industrial Revolution. So the Industrial Revolution started about 150 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong. And that's also around about the time when the schooling system came about. So people were pretty much brainwashed into believing that the only way they can function within the new society is if they, go to school for a set amount of hours, they go to university and study a very specific career, and then they get a job either from the government or a private institute. And, people were, like I said, they were brainwashed into believing that's the only way they would ever get in income and become comfortable with knowing that, hey, at the end of the month, this is my set income, this is how much I'll be making over the next 40 years, I'll be getting my pension when I retire at 60, and I'm good to go. And that does impact your financial thermostat, because like I said, it creates this comfort level of thinking, because you know that within that career option that you choose, whether it's a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, a teacher, a nurse, a photographer, whatever career you choose, you know that there is a certain amount of money that you will be making because of that career, and that does put a cap on your financial thermostat, because you know that, hey, as a lawyer, this is how much I'll ever get to earn. Like, I cannot go above that amount of money, because people within my field of study never go above that. So yeah, you start believing and you start becoming comfortable with knowing just how much money you can possibly earn. And the truth is, you can earn more, but hey, people don't think about things that way.
Well, I for one will never settle for a salary only or alone. If I get a salary, I'm going to make sure that I beef it up with something. This is only a package that is meant to push me down into a comfort zone that I will never be able to get out of. And I hear a lot of people complaining, you know what, my friend, I have got a lot of month at the end of the salary. Because it's only a living allowance, it only takes you to a certain point. But well, my point right now is talking about negative comparison. Well, you have seen that, you have seen who and what they have tried this and they never succeeded. So who are you to succeed? These are the sentiments when we have negative comparison within our societies. And because of this, not having the heroes that we can look up to, people are always going to think that trying to manage a risk will always put us down. But when we're able to manage a risk, it means that our financial thermostats can go up. Negative comparison should never be a cause of a low financial thermostat.
That is so true, TJ. And I believe a lot of African societies, they discourage their kids from pursuing careers within the arts or even sports, and this is coming from their perspective. So remember, there's no manual to raising a kid properly, and from their perspective, parents know that pursuing careers within the arts, it's first of all very difficult. It's very difficult to become a celebrity or a soccer star. It is a difficult career to pursue, and secondly, it is a very short-lived career. You won't find a 40 or 50-year-old dancing sexy on a stage, or a 40 or 50-year-old that is still playing soccer. So in an attempt to try and protect their child, they completely discourage them from basically pursuing their career goals and ambitions, and this does hinder a child's their confidence levels. They're less likely to pursue risky things. So in business, if you want to start a business, you have to be willing to take risks. But because the child is thinking, the adult now is thinking, remember back in the day my mom said I can't do something, so that definitely hinders their potential to take risks and to pursue things that they know will not always be easy, and it does impact their confidence levels. And if you are not confident as an individual, it is very difficult for you to generate wealth.
Education is the key, is the sentiment that I've heard in many situations, and it opens a lot of doors. Is education bad? No, education is totally good. But the education of certificates, which certificates? The education of learning only in a classroom, and when you get out of a classroom, you never learn. You say that my education is done. That's a pitfall. Many people have relied heavily on only that certificate and nothing else. So they go back to the cycle of salary and have a lot of month at the end of the salary. I, for one, have learned to learn after my classroom. I've learned on how to communicate. I've learned on how to network. I've learned new things. Let's not take education as if it's a bad thing. And let's not only confine it to the doors and the windows of a classroom, because education truly begins after the classroom. And let it not lower our financial thermostats.
Yeah, funny that you mentioned that, TJ. I can't help but think of my education. So back in matric, I actually wanted to, go to beauty school. I wanted to study and become a makeup artist. And at the time, my mom and sister were like, no, you cannot do that. You have to go to university, because in their minds, they said that people that, take on makeup and all of those beauty type of studies, they are not exactly academically gifted, and that is just the perception that they had. So I had to go get a university degree. I studied humanities, I studied psychology, philosophy, and English, and in as much as my education has impacted my life and the person that I am today, I can't help but look at the beauty industry. Right now, beauty is a $1 billion industry, and I can't help but wonder if I could have potentially benefited from that industry. And luckily for me, I am someone that's very self-aware, and I totally understand just how the universe works. So I am not angry at my mom or my sister, for encouraging me to take on a career path that could seemingly get you a job, or a decent job with a decent salary. Because like I said, people have been brainwashed into believing that the only way you can generate an income and generate wealth is if you go to university and get a degree. So like, I don't blame that at all, but the point I am trying to make is that, you know, the influences that you have in your life does have an impact on your individual growth.
How many times have you heard people complain that the economy is not doing well? Right now, we are not in a good situation as far as the economy is concerned. And how many times have you listened to people complaining about the state of the political affairs in the country? And only when they say this, they are saying that I do not want to invest, or I do not want to put my money into anything else. So if we hear all these things each and every time, what's going to happen to our financial thermostats? These are the sentiments that we've listened from our brothers, from our big sisters, even sometimes from our parents. So in growing up in such a situation where we think that we are reliant on how the economy is operating, we would think that because the economy is down, then we cannot create wealth. All these sentiments of relying on the economy and politics, they bring down our financial thermostats. And I, for one, will not settle for that.
And there you have it. So those are just some of the causes of having a low financial thermostat, or some of the things that cause you to have that cap on your financial thermostat. And then in our next video, TJ and I will be discussing how you can break free from your current financial thermostat and start to generate wealth for yourself. I hope to see you then.